Voters went to the polls and voted overwhelmingly to pass Prop P, which the money was supposed to go to police officers' salaries. And just the other day, the county council, that can't agree on what day of the week it is, unanimously approved. The county executive of St. Louis County, Steve Stenger, joins us. Good morning, Mr. Stenger.
Well, hi, McGraw. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So explain how this works. The voters passed it, but it still had to be passed by the council?
Yeah, what basically happens is the voters passed Proposition P overwhelmingly. And then I made a pay proposal to the St. Louis County Council because they still have to approve the collective bargaining agreement. They had to approve what's called the pay matrix, which we set out, which was collectively bargained with the Fraternal Order of Police, which is the police union. And so there were various things, and there remain various things that the county council still has to approve. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today is on November 1st, yesterday, I made my proposal or my administration's proposal for how the rest of the Proposition P money was going to be spent that lays out a budget for Proposition P for the years to come.
Okay, so explain what they voted on the other day and what you want going forward.
So just the other day, we received unanimous approval after a little bit of a going back and forth. We received unanimous approval for the police officer and civilian pay increase, which was one of the cornerstones of Proposition P that allows us to retain and attract the very best officers that we can and translates directly into better public safety for our community. So one of the key pieces of this next portion is that I'm proposing that we bring on 114 new officers, and that would allow us to hire and equip 112 officers and then 2 supervisors for our 2-officer patrol unit, which is extremely important for public safety. It's extremely important for community policing. This will allow us to have, in many cases, 2 officers to a car, leads to greater officer safety, and helps our officers keep themselves safe while they're keeping us safe. And all this was done in conjunction with and in coordination with our St. Louis County Police Chief, John Belmar.
And so you can do all this because of the funds that were generated from Prop P.
That's exactly right. You know, the overall promise of Proposition P was to deliver greater public safety to our community. And when we start talking about 114 new officers, that's exactly what we're talking about. We're also talking about additional staffing and some pay increases within the prosecuting attorney's office. We're also talking about greater police training. One of the key pieces of this is $1 million extra in addition to what we're already investing on police training. We're also investing another $1 million for increased specialized training on a variety of police community relations subjects, constitutional law issues, as well as conflict avoidance.
Is all of this that you're doing covered by the money that's being generated by Prop P? In other words, do you have to dive into other funds, or is it all covered by Prop P?
No, this is all covered by those additional funds that are generated by Proposition P. Another key area, body cameras. We've been talking for a long time in St. Louis County about having a body camera and dash cam program. We were unable to do it before. It's a great example of what you're talking about. We didn't have the funds for it, but now because we have Proposition P, we're able to have body cameras, which is supported by both the police union, by the police chief, by my administration, and I hope the St. Louis County Council.
All right, so all of that, when can we expect all of this to be in front of the county council to vote on it?
This will be in front of the county council from now until the end of the year, and it's part of an overall budget process. And one of the pieces of legislation that relates to this is a Proposition P accountability bill that we passed just a few weeks ago that basically sets out that Proposition P is a separate line item in our budget, and we created a portal so that our taxpayers can go online and track all of these expenditures very easily.
How much opposition do you think you'll have on the council for all of this?
I don't know. You know, it's hard to say, but I will tell you that these are all of the things that we talked about during the campaign. You know, we made certain promises, and this is delivering on all of those promises that we made during the campaign.
So the city has their Prop P vote this Tuesday. What are your thoughts as you watch your neighbors in the St. Louis City and their Prop P conversation?
You know, it's hard to speculate how any vote is going to go, but I'll tell you, I think Proposition P in the city is just as important as Proposition P was and is in the county. And I would certainly hope that voters would come out and help pass that. Because I think one of the things that it does in the city is it allows the city to retain and attract the best officers that it can. And if we have two jurisdictions that are striving for having the very best officers, I think it makes a much better situation for public safety, makes us all safer, and it allows us to, really allows us to coexist in a much better fashion.
Do you see city officers being trained in the city and moving to the county because of this new Prop P and the salary increases in the county?
I can say that if Proposition P in the city did not pass, I think there would be a natural tendency for officers to look elsewhere, which is one of the reasons why we passed it in the county. Because, we're talking about neighboring jurisdictions and even jurisdictions within St. Louis County that were paying much better than St. Louis County itself was paying. So, we're trying to, once again, retain those best officers, and we're trying to attract the best officers when we can. And it's hard to do that when you're not competitive with pay.
Steve Stenger, County Executive of St. Louis County. Sir, you're always welcome here. Thanks for checking in.
Well, thanks, McGraw. I appreciate